Mr. Jacklich, young man, what is going on over there in, I was about to say Destin, Florida. Just the Wesson Lawn Tennis Club, Wesson, Destin, kind of close. Kind of close.
Only separated by a few hours of flight time.
Well, a few hours, and from the top of the country to the bottom of the country. I was actually in Destin, Florida, back in the mid '70s. I was teaching at a club in Memphis, Tennessee at the time, and all of a sudden the winter hits, and it's brutally cold, and we have these clay courts, and something about the freezing is taking, the lines in the clay, which are nailed down, and they're all popping up. And this one day I'll never forget, I'm showing up for work. It's just horrible. It's like December, and I'm freezing. And here are a couple of the lines, the tapes are just flapping around in the wind.
Flapping.
I'm going, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I
Seemed like a good idea 6 months ago.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I showed up in July. Wow, this Memphis thing's going to be fun. Well, a few months later, reality check, not so great. So I got lucky. I had my good friend who I'd worked for before, Barry McKay, I called him up. I said, Barry, you got to get me out of here, man. I said, I've heard about this job down in Key Biscayne, Florida. They're looking for an assistant pro down there at the Royal Biscayne Hotel. I'm sure you know Donna Floyd Fales, right? You know her? And he goes, oh, Donna, I know her. He said, you want me to make a call for you? I said, man, could you please and hurry up?
Please.
So sure enough, I get a call a couple hours later from Donna Floyd Fales going, hey, just got a call from Barry McKay. You want the job? I said, yes.
Yes. Tears running down your face.
Oh, my
yes.
God. So I go down there, and this was in 1970. This was in January 76. And I can't remember the name of the hurricane that had just come through the Gulf and had just devastated the panhandle of Florida, Destin, Florida. I'm getting to the point of this story. And my friend, who you probably know, one of my all-time favorite guys in the tennis world, Jim McLennan, is he's at this club, and I said, I called him up about a week later. I said, look, I'm driving down Memphis. I'm going to Key Biscayne. He said, well, you got to come on down through Destin. And I said, okay. So I park and this, I think maybe it was Hurricane Andrew. I can't remember. Anyway, so I come through, and his club was close to the beach, and I park, I get out, and here he is. I swear to God, he's got a snow shovel on this court, and the sand down there is like sugar. It's like this white sugar. And he's down there with this big snow shovel with this sand, and I'm just going, oh my God. So that's my vivid memory of Destin, Florida. Anyway, and the job in Key Biscayne was like spectacular. I mean, it was January. I get down there, and it's like 82 degrees, and there's a slight little humidity. And
so as you're driving through Florida, you're out the window of the car. There goes the down jacket. Bye-bye.
That's right.
There go the mittens. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, listen, I get there and I show up at I don't know, it was 2 in the afternoon or something like that. It's a weekend, and Donna and the teaching staff are out there running some event. And, my skin has not seen sun in about 2 months. And so I am like albino white, and I get out of the car and I walk over, and I go, hi, Brent Abel. And she looks at me and goes, wow, you look like a plucked chicken. I go, oh man, well, hi, I'm ready to go to work. Okay, well, here's some sunscreen. You might want to start with that first. Anyway, I was there just for a short time, just for a couple of years. I had to come back to Northern California. Unfortunately, because my mom got real sick and I had to come back and take care of her. But I'm telling you, oh man, Florida was great. It was unbelievable. All right, so let's get to it. We've already spent all of 5 minutes here without even talking anything about what we were doing today. So look, guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. I'm assuming you've been hanging out with us the last few days, where we're talking about the slice backhand and the need to have a high quality one. And, if one of the things you're doing is you're kind of hacking it and it's floating and sitting up short, or it's just randomly got a mind of its own. It's not actually going towards your intended target, certainly not getting that low skid that you want, create some offensive opportunities, then you're in the right spot. Because we yesterday, Jeff, we talked about kind of this new opportunity that we've got, which is something completely different, right? It's really not a high to low swing path.
No.
It's way more of a linear swing path, and it's simple. We want to show it to you this Friday. We're going to actually unveil a course that we're going to show you how to do it, and we're going to actually hold your hand as we take you through how to do it. But today, what we want to really chat about is the reality that this is not just for the top players out there, right? I mean, not only have we got, we've got a student we talked about yesterday, actually the last couple of days ago, named Keith, who is the ultimate conversion test, going from the severe high to low to the not high to low, and is really getting the result that he wants. Look, this guy's a good player too. We're gonna show a little kind of before and after video in today's podcast. But before we get to that, I just want to kind of share my story, Jeff. I mean, I know yours. You sort of, as a kid, I mean, you had already developed kind of a nice, because you had the great backhand volley already. So for you, kind of transitioning from the backhand volley to a groundy, underspin, nasty, low skidding slice, inflicting pain, creating lots of offensive opportunities, even though, yes, you've always been a California-bred, hardcore serve and volley guy.
Yeah.
There were probably some times when the guy bombed in a first serve when you were returning serve where you had to stay back.
Absolutely.
For a ball or two. But my thing was, as I said, I went through this thing in Perth where, man, I cannot serve and volley. Certainly in that situation, and really, let's be honest, Brent. Why don't you take this opportunity to develop more of a baseline game if that's what today calls for? That's what the opponent calls for. And I kind of went through a period of realizing. Well, I started off, as I said yesterday, really going with what I thought was the right thing, which was the high to low swing path. It was the basic hack attack. Like that cat just trying to cough up that fur ball.
Chopping wood.
It was chopping wood, and I could chop, man. I was a major chopper. Yeah. And the teeth would have that look. The jaw would get super tight, and the teeth would go, God.
Yeah.
And I think I was probably trying to copy what I had either seen on TV or what I thought was the thing to do.
Right.
And I just couldn't figure out, well, they can do it. How come I can't do it? Or I've heard that other guys do it. Well, why can't I? Why? And I could do it once in a while, but I couldn't be consistent.
Right.
And that was what really frustrated me, was kind of that randomness of what was coming off my racket, despite the fact that, well, I think I'm doing the right thing. And so I struggled for a while. I really did. And I don't remember exactly anything that kind of changed my mind, other than saying, well, look, I got to study. Well, what are my guys doing? What are my guys in my age group doing? I think yesterday I mentioned, the great Larry Turville.
Yeah.
And I went, well, wait a minute. Wait. Hugh Thompson. Wait a minute. Oh, Jimmy Parker. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
They're doing something different. And boy, does that look a whole lot easier than what I'm trying to do. And that was kind of my epiphany, was not only do they make it look simple, but the result is just pure nastiness.
Yeah, totally.
And so for me, it was, all right, well, I think I can do this. And look, I've been in the gold ball hunt, right? I mean, that's been my deal for quite a while. And so for me, that helped me start earning some more gold balls in both singles and doubles. For our guy Keith, I mean, all of a sudden, within a few days,
Right.
after spending a little time with us online, he's going, dudes, I'm not paying you enough. Okay,
Right.
all right.
All right.
And I think for everyone else out there who's thinking that, look, you may completely believe that what we've got, this new opportunity for you, this different way of thinking about the slice backhand, is really a great method, and it is, but you might be thinking that you cannot do this. And today what we really want to do is convince you otherwise. And so, Jeff, why don't you talk about, before we hit recording, about the simplicity of why this is available, assuming that you can follow instructions and assuming that you can paint by numbers,
Right.
that if you can do that, the simplicity of what we're showing, of what we're going to show in a couple days, is really available to anybody.
Totally available. There's nothing about it that requires advanced athletic ability, advanced stroke technique, advanced
Strength. There's no strength.
Nothing. There's nothing about it that requires some superhuman. Oh, it'll work for you, but not. There's nothing about it that falls into that category. This is just. I mean, literally.
Who have you got? You must have some students, like, either right now when you're in Michigan or some students recently in Napa. A 3.0 gal, a 3.5 guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. You must have. I'm sure is anyone in particular come to mind where you took him from the severe high to low hack attack to, wait a minute, let's change the swing plane and see if we can get the result you're really looking for?
Right. Well, on the one, George, you're out there. I'm giving you a shout out. We worked on yours, and he slices way more now than he ever did. And George is doing a great job with it, and it keeps him in the point, longer. George is a 4.0 plus. He has days where he's, on the cusp, on the edge, and of being that next level up. But for him, it was like it really helped calm him down a little bit, where he didn't feel like he had to work so hard to make, hit that rolling topspin backhand on every ball.
Right.
And so, working with him didn't take very long to get him to relax about it and understand, like, can we get this thing, can we strip away some of the extra stuff you got going on there and get down to very, very simple methodology of understanding, what we want the ball to do and how we're going to get it to do that.
Well,
and there's just not a lot of moving parts to it.
Well, look, and I gotta look. I mean, as I said before, my story was that I thought that I had to do this thing, right? Either that's the way I interpreted it, or I heard it somewhere, or I just looked at the guys on the tube and said, well, that's what I got to do. And we kind of talked yesterday, we talked a lot about yesterday about how tough it is to copy because of all the different dynamics involved with pro level tennis. On TV, does that look easy? Oh, I could do that. Right. Well, why don't you go stand next to a practice court? Go to Indian Wells someday and go to the first 2-3 days and go to those practice courts and you watch what's going on out there. And all of a sudden it goes, oh, these are different human beings out here.
Right. They must be from some other planet.
That's right. So look, I mean, I think one of the reasons that the players get frustrated where they think that, well, maybe this is not for me, maybe I can't really do this, is that is they've been told, they've been taught that, number one, either you have to copy what we see on TV, or that, number two, that this swing plane is different, and it keeps getting hammered home over and over and over again. So what I will tell you guys, if you've got this sense that you've tried this before, working on a slice backhand, it's not working out, the chances are very good this is not your fault. There's so much garbage out there, right? There's so much stuff we see on YouTube. If you're spending a ton of time on YouTube looking for the answers to this thing, you're getting lots of free garbage. Someone is dumping on you. Someone's taking the dump truck, the trash you know,
Right.
and they're just unloading it in your driveway, and
Right.
it's just it's just a
yeah.
mess.
There is a huge amount of real estate between high and low. I mean, a massive amount of real estate, the way that can be executed, interpreted, and applied.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that it's sad
well,
when I
look
see it. I look out there and I just look at it and I go, oh my gosh, I feel bad that I'm seeing some of this stuff, and
it's overcomplicated. It's just way
Yeah.
overcomplicated. And I think lots of times things get taught in a way to sort of justify either my fee. I got to spend an hour out here with you on the court. So I got a yak, and I can't, at least sometimes a lot of teaching guys and gals don't know how to make it fun working on the most basic fundamentals. And so it gets the fear of being bored out there and just working on the same thing over and over again. And somehow that gets into, well, I got to say more, I got to do more. And the next thing you know is that It's just a mess. So guys, look, if you've been struggling with this shot, I'm serious. It's not your fault. I do believe that you've been getting the wrong stuff. And tomorrow, what we want to talk about tomorrow is kind of another secret. Is secret number 3 that we are going to lay on you tomorrow about how to get a really high quality slice backhand for all the reasons that we've been talking about for the last week or so, about why you need this, why you need this in your game, all of the different shots that come out of it, all of the pain you can inflict. It's a blast. It's fun.
It's fun.
So, well, guys, listen. With that, I think we've done enough for today. I hope you enjoyed that story. Teed it off this morning about Destin, Florida, and my good friend Jim McClendon, and who actually has got a great online tennis instructional website. He's one of the guys that I would follow him. I mean, I just think he's got all the good stuff. Of course, he is a Tom Stowe guy through and through. So, funny how that works. Yeah. Anyway, Jeff, what do we want fine folks to do right now?
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. If you're on iTunes and Stitcher, please rate and review.
Outstanding. I did forget that we are still offering a free private coaching call. The 3 of us, right? You, me, and Jeff, we get in the phone. It's private. We don't record it, but we do ask you to bring the one thing in your game right now that maybe is holding you back. Could be the slice backhand. Let's get on a free call. Let's see if Jeff and I can't help put you on the path to kind of cleaning that thing up. Just go over to goldballhunting.com. Drop in a first name and email address. Click the button. You'll get access to our calendar. You can pick a date and time that works best for you. Guys, with that, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Secret number 3 is coming tomorrow, Jeff.
Can't wait.